Joining me now is a community leader who was at that meeting, Amy Spitalnik, CEO of the Jewish Council for Public Affairs. Amy, thank you for coming. That was pretty direct, that something is going on, at least on the intelligence level. They've said no boots, American boots on the ground. Not that they would tell us until after the action, but clearly there are efforts to try to figure out where these hostages are.
Absolutely. Well, I think first and foremost, the administration and the president in particular made crystal clear that they felt the pain that was in that room and that the community is feeling. And that includes the fact that many of us in the room know people who are among the hostages or among those killed. And that pain was felt in the room, and hearing that reassurance from the president was deeply meaningful. Of course, he can't share specific details as they are going about their planning, but now with Secretary Blinken on the ground and the reassurances from the White House and the team yesterday, the moral clarity and the reassurance that they've provided has been felt.
Do you personally know anyone immediately involved, any of the victims?
I have a number of friends and former colleagues who have deep connections to those who are impacted, including a number of the peace activists who are among those who were killed or taken hostage. People like Vivian Silver, who is the leader of Women Wage War, people who are on the front lines of the fight for peace with the Palestinians and have now been caught up directly in this bloodshed. And I would imagine would still want many of us to channel their spirit in urging for a resolution here and fighting for a long-term security and safety for both Israelis and Palestinians.
I know that has been among the most heartbreaking aspects of this, is interviewing families and relatives of those who were peace activists moved near the border to be helpful to people there, to help go into Gaza. One woman, Mrs. Silver, to bring, cancer patients out for treatment in Israeli hospitals. What more do you think the U.S. could be doing, the administration?
Well, look, I think first and foremost, I appreciate the moral clarity with which the president has spoken on this, and to continue to do so at a time when moral clarity feels like it's in short supply has been deeply meaningful. I also appreciate their comments about efforts to distinguish between Hamas and the Palestinians, to make clear that Hamas is not the future of the Palestinian people, to encourage Israel to do whatever it can to mitigate civilian impact. And more broadly, the message that many of us brought into the room yesterday and that we heard back from the administration was that this is going to have ripple effects everywhere, including here at home. And many of us are deeply concerned that this crisis has the possibility to roll back all of the progress we've made in the fight for safety and security, to bring up anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, and other acts of hate here at home. And it's so crucial that we not lose sight of that and let those who are trying to exploit this crisis tear communities apart.
Are you concerned about the security of both synagogues and mosques, of religious institutions in this country?
Yeah. Well, look, even before this crisis, we were already facing record-level anti-Semitism and other forms of hate-fueled violence. This was a crisis long before this past weekend. And in fact, those of us who were at the White House yesterday, many of us were originally supposed to be there to discuss implementation of the anti-Semitism strategy, which is crucial. We are already seeing extremists who are seeking to exploit this to target Palestinian Americans, Muslim Americans, and Jewish Americans in a variety of ways. And we cannot let that happen, because we know that our communities are only are safest in solidarity with one another, despite what those extremists might try to do to exploit this moment.